Hello, welcome to Krafting Kitty. My name is Erin. It is Thursday, so today I would like to share with you my thoughts on what's going to be my final visit for Joann's. I cannot foresee myself going back, but that's okay. I'm a little out of breath right now, I'm going to be honest. I had to climb on a stepladder. I know a stepladder isn't high, it's a 4-foot stepladder, to put some yarn back on my yarn wall after my Monday Yarn Management Monday video, and it might be 4 feet, but I am horrifically scared of heights. And I am feeling a little bit anxious here. I thought it was going to be okay. And then I sat down and realized I had not been calmed yet. Okay, we've talked it through. I think I'm doing better. So, we're going to talk about my final visits to Joann's. But first, we are going to look at my stitch marker of the day from Ellie's Yarny Crafts and More. I think I got the channel. There you go. This is her St. Patrick's Day set. We are going to have a little extra. This isn't going to end on St. Patrick's Day, but that's okay. Stitch markers are always fun. Oh, this is cute. Okay. I told you yesterday she can do a variety of clasps, and I didn't have one on hand to show you. This is the other style of clasp, and if you want your... There's a little fruit flying in here, looks like. If you order one of these from her, you can select which kind of clasp you want, or if you knit and crochet and both types are useful for you, she will do a mix. So this is a horseshoe, and it's got a couple of shamrocks, clovers around it. And there's the other type of clasp. It's that circular clasp. This one works well on circular knitting needles to like mark the rounds. I am currently doing a hat, and I'm using, right now I'm using 5mm. I think this will work up to 6mm, maybe even 6.5. These are US 10.5s. 6. Yeah, it'll work beyond that. Look it, you got room. These are US 10.5s. So yeah, very, very multi-purpose. I mean, if you're using like 15mm knitting needles that look like vampire stakes, that's not going to work. But I was trying to see. I know I have a pair. I've been reorganizing. You don't care. They are very multi-purposed. And did I knock down my yarn needles too? I did. Oh, I made a mess of this place when I was doing that shelf. Okay. Joann's. I have two stores. I have what I call the smaller one. It is up in Ankeny, Iowa. That has been the smaller store. It's always had less inventory than the bigger store. The bigger store for me is in Clive, Iowa. It's on University Avenue. I am in the Des Moines area, so central Iowa. I went first to the Ankeny one, figuring I'd say goodbye on the off chance they had some goodies. That place was so sad. It was so picked over. I was surprised because you walk in and there's signs everywhere saying entire store 20 to 40% off. I found that to be untrue. Some things were marked at a 10% discount, which, I mean, they're going to get what they can. I understand that, but that was not proper advertising. So that turned me off immediately. They had very few workers. They only had one poor lady on the checkout, and she was overwhelmed. The lady cutting fabric was wonderful. She was very kind. She was definitely she was the one bright spot in the store. The aisles were totally picked over. There was like one person half-heartedly putting out more product. And for yarn, they had a couple of colors of Big Twist Value, but that's about all they had. For fabric, they had a decent fabric selection, but it was a lot of bare shelves. Mostly quilting cotton there. Some apparel, a small amount of fleece, a small amount of flannel. I didn't look at the big rolls, but it didn't seem like they had many of the big rolls of fabric. The sewing notions, the knit and crochet notions were completely barren. There was nothing there. The other aisles were, where it was only a 10% discount, it was pretty well stocked. Everything else was not. They had the signs of like, you know, new inventory coming every day, but I don't know. So the checkout lady was clearly overwhelmed, not pleasant to deal with, and all I had was some cut fabric. So all I had to do was say, this is my fabric, here's my yellow ticket. I don't even need a bag, I'm leaving. And she was not awesome. And I mean, the lady, there was quite a line when I went to check out. And the problem was, it was me, there was 3 ladies and then a lady checking out. The lady checking out had a gigantic cart, and she did have some cut fabric, and she had lost her ticket. Her cart ended up being at about $480, so it was a large, large order. And yeah, it was just not, I think it put the poor checkout gal in a very not so happy mood. The person stocking the yarn area in back was like literally rolled his eyes when he saw me peek down the aisle. And I was like, okay, buddy, okay. Yeah, that was sad. I wish I had not gone there to see what it had become. But I did find some fabric treasures to come home with. I have not been doing as much sewing. That's something we've talked about. But I couldn't let the opportunity go, you know, to see what they would have. I ended up getting, I got the end of bolt on this. I don't even know if I can tell on here what's what. Rainbow ornaments. Just under 2 yards, 1.77 yards of this super pretty like Christmas ornament fabric. I loved the rainbow. I'm really kind of drawn to more non-traditional Christmas colors, so that really excited me. If you know my daughter, you know she loves doo-doo, which when she first discovered the character was the only way she could pronounce his name. It is, of course, Grogu. So they had some licensed Star Wars fabric, 2 yards each of all of these. So this one, it was a 2 yard minimum for this fabric. It was at this store, there was a I believe it said 3 yard minimum for the big roll fabrics. At the other store, it was a different minimum for that. I do recall seeing that. 2 yards of this on a navy background. And 2 yards of this one. Now, these were very strange. These were all different discounts, even though they're licensed cotton. This one was a 60% off discount. This one was a 40%. Wait. No, this one was the 25% discount. And this one was also 60% discount. Why this one was different, I have no idea, but this one was 25%. And then I also got 2 flannels. The first one is a 3-yard cut. No. Okay. No, I had asked for 6 yards of this, but there was only 4. So I got 4 yards of this. This was called Sweet Foxes. I don't know why I have a thing for foxes. I wanted to make myself some lounge pants out of this. It might be for bingo. I do not recall. So I have not bought flannel for lounge pants for a very long time. I used to make them often for me and Brian. What I don't recall is did I need 6 yards for me and Brian, or just for one of us? That's what I couldn't remember. So I might not have quite enough for this, but it's so cute. I don't know why. I have a thing for foxes, guys. You're going to see. And then I bought just the end of this roll. It was 5 yards of this fox. I thought this was adorable. I'm kind of hoping, and I think I can do it, make matching pants for the kiddos for Christmas with these. Isn't that cute? Little foxies wearing sweaters. What I don't know, this one she just gave me the bolt. Oh, there was only 8 yards in this bolt to start with. Okay, this is 42 inches. Okay. I don't know. We're gonna, I was trying to think in my head. So this one will be 42 inches as well. When I say on the bolt, these different fabrics have different measurements. For the flannel, for a lot of quilting cottons, for it to be 42 inches wide is pretty standard. I'm not going to do it with this one. I bet you these were 42 as well. So if you were to unfold this flat, it would be 42 inches. So this is 21 inches right here. In case you're curious. I don't know, not everyone here is into the fabric arts. A lot of apparel fabric that you get will be 60. I forget if it's 60 or 63. Got a bunch of apparel up there. I'm not going to measure it, and none of it has a tag. Okay, but it's something in the 60s. So, this is all I purchased at that first store. I looked at, like I said, looked at the yarn. They had some big twist value, but nothing else. I shouldn't say nothing else. There was some of the big fat blanket yarn, which I don't like. So there you go. I thought some very cute fabrics. At the second store, my larger store, it was a completely different experience. Like, you walked into the first store and it was like quiet as a tomb. It was just deathly quiet. And then every once in a while, there was this person in the back that sounded like they were hacking up a lung. It was bad. In the larger store, the Clive store, the bigger, nicer store, kind of in general, it was kind of joyous. You could hear people talking and laughing. And, like, it was just a better organized store to start with. It just seemed happier walking in the door. They had, like, 3 people on the checkout. They were chatting and clearly enjoying each other's company. I I went through the fabric first because as I walked in, I saw a line for the cutting table kind of snaking through. And I thought, okay, let's make the fabric selections, get everything cut, and then if I have time, I'll go check to see what the yarn looks like. I did have time, and frankly the yarn's on top, so let's talk about the yarn first. They had no Big Twist value left. Completely empty. They had some Lion Brand yarns. They had a very small supply of a K&C cotton. They had a couple of a weird Big Twist, a very small bag, or a very small skein. It was called Big Twist Amigurumi. I had not seen that before, but I also really wasn't interested in it. They had some Red Heart Super Saver, and they had 2 cubes that were chocked full of bitty stripes. So, I finally got my hands on some of the big Super Saver bitty stripes in the colorway Crayon Box. This was always out of stock when I was trying to order it, so I was so excited. They had 6 of these. I took 3. All of the yarn was still 25% off. So I got 3 of those. I was so excited. And then they had probably about 12 of the mermaid colorway. I did not get the mermaid. I just got these because it's one I had wanted and was, like I said, always out of stock when I wanted it before. So there we go. And then the other yarn, they had the back wall, you know, they had one of those yarn walls. It was pretty empty, but they had a couple of cubes just shoved full of yarn. And they had 1 full cube of Super Saver neon stripes. Do I need neon stripes? Oh, heck no. I've got 3 of the jumbos sitting right there mocking me like, why did you buy these? It made me happy at the time, so I did. They're the smaller 3 ounces, 5 ounces. Smaller 5-ounce balls, but they had, like I said, just a cube full of them. And they were so bright and happy, I had to take some home. I had to save it. I had to keep it happy. Okay, and then they only had, this is the bag size I like the best. They only had 1 design left. And I thought it was pretty cute here. Home is where your cat is. Krafting Kitty. Cats. There you go. They had a couple smaller ones like like this size. Okay, smaller tote. And then they had one gijumbus one that was like bigger than this gift bag. It was like this wide and like probably about that tall, but like wider, like maybe 6 inches wider. So that's really all they had for design for bags. The rest I got was fabric. They had some super cute stuff here. Again, the discounts were kind of all over the place and hard to tell. Also, I got the kids 2 stuffed animals, but I already gave it to them. I got a couple of end of bolts, which was a deal that Joann's often used to do, but the first store I went to was not offering it, so I didn't push. I didn't know if it was rude. I wasn't sure. But this store the lady offered. So end of bolt means I say, hey, I want this 2 yards, please. So she measures out the 2 yards. And if there is a yard or less left, they'll measure it and say, okay, there's 28 inches left. Do you want this as a remnant? And then for that 28 inches, you get it for 50% off whatever the price is. So if it's on sale for 25% off, it's that 25% off sales price, and then they give you an extra 50% off of that. So they were honoring that at this Joann's. So there was a couple where I was like, yeah, just give me the end of bolt, please. I will use it. What did I get? I got, we'll go through the quilting cottons first. I found this absolutely adorable Christmas Hello Kitty. Isn't that sweet? And then I got end of bolt on this one. How could I not? Adorable, like, mermaid, underwater sea adventure Hello Kitty. Isn't that adorable? Okay, let's see if I can. I got Mermaid Hello Kitty. Okay, this one was a full. So I asked for 2 yards. There was a full yard on end of bolt. So I got 3 yards of the Mermaid Hello Kitty. The Hello Kitty and Friends Holiday Cotton, I got 2 yards of. Okay, this one was on sale 25% off. Holiday was 40% off. I found this super cute Mario one. It's got Mario, Luigi. What's the mushroom guy's name? Is it just Mushroom? Bowser, Wario, Princess Peach, Yoshi, Donkey Kong. Yoshi was the big draw on this. Chomps loves Yoshi. So when I saw Yoshi featured, we had to get that. I don't think I held that up very nicely for you. It's hard to get all of the character repeats in. There you go. Mario, 2 yards, 25% off. This was adorable. I got end of bolt on this. Interstellar Galaxy. I got 2 yards and then there was 0.88 yards left. This was 20% off. I thought that was just so beautiful. This was a mommy fabric. I am enamored of outer space. And then this one, of course, was for Chomps. Dragon and Stars on Navy. This was 20% off. So the fabric sales are not the best fabric sales I've ever seen at Joann's. I've seen this stuff much cheaper. But knowing that supply is going to just dwindle, I got what I wanted. And it's not necessarily a bad deal. It's just, I know in the past and with stacking coupons, you could have gotten this for much cheaper. And then I got 2 more flannels. Okay, that bag. Oh yeah, it's that bag. Was 20% off. This fabric, Halloween costume dogs, was 40% off. And it's flannel. And it's got like these little headstones and some moons and stars, pumpkins, and dogs wearing Halloween costumes. Look at Hello Witch Dog. Oh, there's a cauldron making some bone stew. There are some pumpkins. Maybe it's bone potion. Like, just look how adorable. There's a little, I think, a vampire Scotty dog. I don't know. This struck my fancy. Do you see the pirate dog? Look at that pirate dog. I might have been channeling Heather the Crochet Witch when I picked that one up. Although they did have kind of a cute tarot card one that I almost picked up thinking I might send it to Heather. But it was a plastic wrapped full bolt. And for some reason I just felt bad cutting into that bolt. I don't know why. I don't know why, but I did get this for myself. I don't know why I said but, because this looks almost exactly like that bag I just showed you. It's Phases of the Moon. This is flannel. And Eclipse Moon Phases on black. This was also 40% off. This one they had 6 yards of, so I got the 6 yards. And here you go. I just thought that was so cool. What I love to do also is back quilts with flannel. I think it just makes them so cozy. And the way this flannel wears, it gets softer and softer as you wash it. So I'm a big fan. So I don't know if this will end up being the backing for a smaller quilt or if I will make like lounge pants out of it. I feel like there's something cool about the moons on a back of a quilt. And then this place did have a little bit in the crochet items. They didn't have any of the wooden hooks, Heather, but they had some 4.5 millimeter and 5 millimeter of the black Easy Grip Susan Bates loose hooks. They also had a few of the packs of hooks, but I'm trying to check what the discount was here. Neon stripe, neon stripe, neon stripe, dragon plush, crayon box, crayon box, crayon box, unicorn plush. Those are the plushies I got for the kiddos. Moon phases, costume dogs, Hello Kitty, mermaid, mermaid, interstellar. Okay, crochet hook. These were 25% off. $4.50 less 25%. So there you go. They didn't have many. I grabbed one of each just to have. Yeah, so there you go. Like I said, I feel like there are those signs saying new inventory arriving daily, blah, blah, blah. I feel as though that new inventory is likely being shipped to stores closer to the distribution centers. These stores were so barren in areas. Either they don't have the manpower to put stuff out, and they do have stuff in back, or they're not getting anything. The fabric at the large store was very nicely stocked. There was no giant swaths of empty wall or empty shelving. There were some empty spots, but it wasn't like the first one where there was like a whole wall that was just wire racks. I could tell that their cart supply was greatly diminished. I don't know if it's from theft or sale. At the Ankeny store, I didn't dare ask any questions. I thought about asking at the Clive, but frankly, at that point I needed to get going. And while I think it would be cool to have a Joann's cart, I didn't necessarily have the space in my car to take it right then. So, didn't ask. Yeah. I said the second store had a different policy on cutting. For most of the fabrics, it was 2 yard minimum. They're not letting you get half yards or anything less than 2 yards. For they had a lot of the fancy apparel, like the sequin, the embroidered, the lacy, the bridal fabrics. There were 5 yard minimums on that. And they also had a lot of the big long rolls of home decor fabric, like for the draperies and things and tablecloths. Those were 5 yard minimums as well. There was also, I think there was a sign for vinyl, and vinyl was a 3 yard minimum. There was something that was a 3 yard minimum. Those were not fabrics. While I love the apparel fabrics and I would love to get a supply of that, I don't storage, and I don't have any immediate thoughts on what I would make with it, and that makes purchasing a yardage difficult. With the quilting cottons, with the flannels, I have ideas of what that would be used for, and I know how far 2 yards can go. I love making tote bags. I can make a number of tote bags out of a 2 yard swath of that fabric. I don't like using the flannel for tote bags. It wears nicely, like it washes nicely for the like lounge pants and quilt backings, but to me it doesn't hold up nicely for a bag. Like it wants to be a warmer fabric. The quilting cottons, they have a home decor canvas that I love for bags. The first Ankeny store had no canvas. The Clive store had one small half aisle of their remaining canvas, and there was no designs that I liked, so I didn't grab any of that. But if you are a sewer, a sewist, a quilter, if you're into the cosplays, if you want the apparel fabric, in my experience in the stores I was at, that's what they had good supply of. Like I said, these discounts are not the best prices. The flannel, most of the flannel I have behind me, and I've got a good supply of it, I would get on Black Friday. Black Friday, for a number of years, they had this stuff for $1.99 a yard. These were, what did I say, 40% off, $9.99 a yard. Where's my flannel? Yep, the flannel, $9.99 a yard, 40% off. So, $10 a yard, 40% off. I paid, what, $6 a yard for it? It's hard to tell. So, yeah, I paid $6 a yard on it. That's not the best price. But like I said, I got fabrics that made me very happy when I saw them. And I think I'm going to be happy having them back there with my fabric collection, hopefully to make something one day. I showed Bingo her doo-doo fabrics, and she was squealing for me. So, very excited. Chomps was too busy playing with his dragon plushie toy to care about the dragon fabric, but he'll be excited. I know Bingo's going to squeal when she sees that mermaid Hello Kitty. She could see the Hello Kitty through the bag, and she said, "Is that Hello Kitty for me?" I said, "Yeah," but she's like, "Ah!" So when she sees it's a mermaid Hello Kitty, all the little explosions are going to go off. You know that. I'm not sure about that puppy dog flannel, what I'm going to do with it, but it made me happy when I saw it, and if it gives me joy, I buy it. But like I said, it was a very bittersweet, sad thing seeing the state of some of those shells, especially the yarn. I kind of wish I hadn't seen it. I wish I just had the memory of a happy, full Joann's that I've known my whole crafting life, and I think that's what gets me the most, and why so many of us are so sad about seeing Joann's go, because it was, I mean, it's an affordable place to get these supplies, and when you're just learning and maybe you know, you're a kid and you don't have the money, or a new adult and you finally have your own money to spend, but you don't have a lot of it. Yeah, that's where you go. And if you're just learning something, you want to try something new, you're not going to go to an LYS and buy a $30 hank of fingering yarn. I mean, if you can, hats off to you, go for it. But most people will go to Joann's and buy a skein of value yarn, and that's what you learn on. Or go get the cheaper quilting cotton. None of this is Quilter's Showcase. That's like their bargain basement brand of quilting cotton. But yeah, that Quilter's Showcase, you could get it so affordably. And if you're learning to sew and you're scared to cut into that fabric, you're gonna buy the most cost-effective fabric you can. It just makes sense. And we have those memories. And it feels like we're losing that part of us. I think that's what ultimately makes most of us sad and want to grab onto some memories and grab onto some last bits of it. You're certainly welcome to disagree, and I totally understand if you're like, I am over this Joann's thing. Just let it go. I get it. I understand. Like I said, this is very likely the last. I can foresee seeing, you know, like at the Clive location, the guys were there in the cherry picker putting up the going out of business sign while I was there, which surprised me because I would have thought that would have been up a couple weeks ago, but that store was one of them that was on the keep open list. So maybe they were just getting around to it. I don't know. But the Ankeny one was just covered in flyers, going out of business, nothing held back, all of that. Yeah. That's kind of what I'm left with. I guess what I was saying was I could foresee if I hear this is the last day, you know, maybe I don't think I will. I think this was it. I think I'm satisfied that I have my piece of Joann's history. I made those large yarn orders when the rumors first started. I'm referencing out there because the yarn, I have nowhere to store it. It's on the landing, mocking me. I had that moon bag out there because Brian asked me to make him a sweater vest. And I grabbed some of the yarn from those. It took so long, I ran myself out of battery. So yeah, I had that moon bag sitting out there on the landing. It was on the stack of boxes because Brian asked me to make him a sweater vest, so I've already put the yarn for that sweater vest in that tote bag. That's what I will make. But yeah, final thoughts. I have my pieces of Joann's. I think I've said my goodbyes. It's, like I said, it's sad for me to see it go. It's the end of an era for a lot of us crafters, but I also fully understand some people aren't sad to see it go, and that's an okay feeling too. Like, it's okay to be sad, it's okay to not be sad. Everyone's feelings are valid, and you know, however you feel, I support that. I personally am in the sad category, I guess you can tell based on the purchases. But yeah, I'm not sitting here thinking, oh, I saw this other fabric, I wish I had bought it. I guess the only fabric that comes to mind is that tarot card one. And that wouldn't be for me, that would be for, like I said, Heather, if that's something she would have wanted. But who knows if it's still there even one day later. I did this yesterday. Today is Wednesday, March 13th. I went shopping here Tuesday, March 11th, and who knows what's going to happen on... I was going to say it's a Friday the 13th, but it's not. But the blood moon happens on the night of the 13th going into the 14th morning. The kids are so excited. Their spring break starts on the 14th, so they don't have to go to school. So they want me to wake them up so we can go out and see it. I am crossing my fingers and toes that we don't have cloud cover, because that would be cool. I think the kids would think that was neat. I fear... So Bingo, surprisingly, Bingo is the much more adventurous of the two. Maybe that's not surprising, second child. But I fear Chomps is a little afraid of seeing the moon red. But he's also like interested. Bingo is all like, yeah, let's see it. So I am hoping for no cloud cover. And we'll see if we can see that. The last time the kids were excited for, well, the solar eclipse was a big deal at school, but they were in school, so they got to do all the school things with it. No, Bingo was not at school. Chomps was at school. That was last year. He was in first grade. Bingo and I got things, and we tried our best to see it from the backyard, and were not super successful. But we did go a couple of years ago. Do you remember when there was that Christmas star that everyone was so excited about? I forget what it was, but there's supposed to be such a big star. We went and we tried to see it, and we just could not get a good view of it. So that was a little disappointing. But I mean, this will be something viewable without binoculars, without a telescope. I'm pretty psyched, and I'm excited that the kids are psyched. I don't know why I'm going on about the moon right now. I just ran out of batteries waxing philosophical about Joann's going out of business. I would love your thoughts. Are you still making any trips to Joann's? Any last things you're hoping to get your hands on? I'm curious. Yeah, I don't know. I have no advice other than in my stores, fabric is what was in good supply. Yarn was not in good supply. Yarn accoutrement was not in good supply. Sewing supplies, not in good supply. Sewing needles, that was all pretty barren. Other than the fabric, the floral seemed to be pretty well stocked in the larger store. They didn't have much floral to begin with in the smaller store, so I didn't heed much mind to that. The cooking utensils in the smaller store were very well supplied, but they were also one of the things marked 10% off. I didn't really pay much attention to the cooking utensils in the larger store. At that point, like I said, I was starting to run out of time, so I cruised through the yarn, found my neon stripes. Well, like I said, makes me happy, but why did I buy it when I knew I had... Do I have 4? I might have 4. I've got 4 jumbos sitting right there. But that's okay. That's okay. And this will become something. I'm sure Bingo's going to want it. You know she's going to. And like I said, I had been looking for that crayon box for a long time. And to find it in a barren yarn section was just too much. Oh, but I got my 3. I wanted to leave some for somebody else just in case. And if I'm blind buying and I don't know what I'm using it for, I tend to buy 3s in yarn. 2 yards of fabric is actually what I generally buy if I don't know what I'm using it for. Because 1 yard feels like a lot, but when you're making things, it might not go as far as you think. Okay. I love you all. I'd love to know your thoughts. Are you still looking? What are you hoping to pick up? Neither Joann had any of the handheld bags or baskets. So I don't know if those had already been looted or sold or given away. I don't want to imply that people are thieving when I do know some stores are just giving things away and verbally saying, yeah, just take it. So I will joke about looting, but I know not everyone is out there stealing stuff. Yeah, I think that's just about all for today. I love you all. I will see you guys later. Bye.